Good evening, one and all. What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It's a live transfer talk. Gonna go for, I'm guessing, around 15 minutes today. Fast forward 40 minutes later, we're still here, but I'm gonna aim for around 15 minutes. All depend on how the chat goes. Gonna be speaking about Matteo Joseph, new signing, and Rival Watch. Have to look at Rival Watch. I have done a video earlier today, so if you haven't seen that one, please go back and watch it. I will link it in one of the top two corners. And I hope everyone is good, man. Listen, there's a little poll going on right now in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts. Just from the availability of both strikers, I want to get your thoughts on that one. What's everyone saying to open? Okay, right. We're going to get straight into it then. All right, J Racer saying evening and all. Thank you. What's going on, J Racer? What's good, Ash? Hope everyone's good, man. Well, look, man, we had a friendly today. I'm not going to go too much into this. We got the highlights, didn't we, on the official channels and everything else like that. Can't really take too much from a German third-tier team, and as you could see from some of the defending, it wasn't great. You know what I mean? But it's all to do with fitness, getting minutes in the bank, getting more cohesion together for the team. So all good on that front. But again, I'm not going to take too much from a 4-1 win against SC Ville. Joel Peru scored 2, Nanto and Mecha rolled one in on the line. Any just brief things from the live chat. Ramazani looking good. Ramazani's looking very good, man. Jack Harrison, yeah. I do think that we need to sort that one out. That one does need to be resolved this summer. I just don't see it happening for him at this football club. I know football is very fickle, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But it will, if he scores 2 weeks in a row, yeah, everything will be forgotten. I just don't see it though. I don't see it with Jack Harrison again. Usually he goes for like 4 hot games and then 15, absolute ghost games. But I just don't see it. I don't see it this time around. I know there's a redemption for everybody, but I just feel like the feeling's a bit different with this one. And I've already explained before, just due to the deep thing that he had from the Bielsa era, is so different from Aronson and even Verber to a certain extent, because they were newer players, so people didn't really have that emotional attachment. I don't have emotional attachment to any of these players, let me just say that, but I know for fans that, especially from that Bielsa period, they love those players. And the fact that he turned his back to go out on loan, even when he was injured, he rushed out the door, I think it's left a sour taste in even their mouths. So I don't know how you're going to come back from it. So I just hope that we, resolve it in the summer, get him a move, and then we get a replacement in. Is Harrison in the shop window? I think so, Sean. I do. And I said this before we started this preseason tour. I had half a mind for him to go. I would like the thought of him going just on the basis that he's in the shop window. People can see he's fit and ready and available. The other half of me, though, was saying, God, if he does well, I know what this fan base is like. They'll be saying Haradana's back. But I do think it's a case of him being in the shop window at this point. Harry Gray, yeah, he's going to be balling. He's going to be balling. I don't know if he's going to get opportunities this year. I don't know where you get an opportunity, to be fair, unless we're safe by March. Hey, safe by March. I don't know when he's going to get opportunities, but that's why I said with Harry Gray in the buy keep sell video, I don't want to loan him out. I want to keep him around the first team so we can get that feel of Premier League football. Unless the loan is absolutely unbelievable, I want him to stay around the first team. Is it? If he is in the shop window, he isn't selling himself too hard. I know it's looking dire, man. It's looking really dire. And you know what else it looks like with Jack Harrison? We know he's a confidence player, which I hate to begin with anyway. When you're an outwardly confident player, that you need to have that in your game. I think you should be thriving off your talent, worth ethic alone. Confidence comes naturally with performances. It shouldn't be the biggest barometer of your performances, but he looks like he's just treading on eggshells around the place. He does. I think he knows he's not wanted, and I don't think he wants to be here. And I think if we could sort of move out for him tomorrow, he'd be on the first thing smoking out of it. I really do. J Ray saying here, story-wise, I'd like to be safe by the Burnley home game, my birthday. Listen, anytime we can get safe, the better. Maybe not on the last day. Let's have a little breathing room. Let's enjoy the last couple of weeks of the season. We will see. Sean saying here, Bielsa really made players something. Oh, sorry. Bielsa really made players become something they are not. Yeah. Look, he was a large portion of that. He's like one of the very few coaches around the world where you say they actively, improve players. And I think that was proven from what he did with a Midland Championship team, albeit empty stadium, but they still finished ninth in the Premier League that season. And there's a lot to be said for that. With Jack Harrison, though, I did think he had the talent there. He just hasn't realized it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It happens to many footballers where you think they're going to go to a different trajectory, and his career hasn't gone the way that I thought he would have. I thought he would have had England caps by now if he chose to play for England. I thought he would have been on that level the way that he started with us when he was during his loan periods, but just hasn't happened for him, and it certainly hasn't happened for him over the last couple of years. Matt C saying Harrison's face looked like someone had stolen his hair bubble on a team photo in Stockholm. Yeah. One other bit of news from this is that one of our new signings, Sebastian Bornauw, is going to be injured for 2 weeks. I know there's been a little bit of people, a lot of people saying, look at that, injury prone. I get it, but with him having so many injuries last season, I think it was inevitable he was going to break down at some point. Maybe it is due to the intensity of the training. I mean, he even said after that he was tired or whatever it was after the game against Man United. It was tough on the legs. It's because he hasn't played that much football, and that was bound to happen. So you know what you buy in Leeds United. This is what we said in the transfer, welcome video. You know what you're buying. He had a lot of time out. But listen, it's a little injury. Hopefully it's not, perpetual through the season and he comes back after a couple of weeks. Obviously not ideal at the start of preseason, but it is what it is at this stage. 2 weeks out, we'll just have to adjust without him. Ampadu, by the way, can't be centre back. Look, in the Championship, it works, people. Ampadu in centre back works in the Championship because the players aren't that good in that league. I've said it many times. He needs to be in defensive midfield where he does all his best work. We don't want to see Ampadu back as centre back. We've got 4 at the minute. 1 is out, but now don't know what's happening with Stroud. Been through that on a video. Maybe he goes. Maybe we bring in someone else. And that's why that Diego Carlos loan makes no sense. I mean, he's even worse than Bornauw when it comes to injuries. Terrible injury record. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, for me, Ampadu stays as a linchpin in defensive midfield. And it is as simple as that. This is the Premier League, people, not the Championship. And yeah, Stark can play centre back if needed. Yeah, he can do, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why he's been not one of the reasons why he's been bought, but it also helps that he does play that he has played there previously. But again, keep the players in their strongest positions, and that's why I'm saying once we do get all the key positions filled out, get in a left-footed left back, get in another right back for genuine competition for Bogle, so Byram can be a substitute right back or just off the team sheet. And the 5th choice. That's what he's got to be. He can't be the direct competition for Goodmanson. That can't happen. Carl saying, our medical team must have the most secure jobs in football. They're always busy. Always, always. Okay, let's move on to Matteo Joseph. As Daniel Farke did confirm today, I'm going to get in. Yeah, he confirmed what has long been, expected, I would say. But Daniel Farke did say that Matteo Joseph has asked for a transfer, was expected to be in Germany, but stayed in the UK. Farke says Joseph's preference is to move to Spain. Duh, I said that about a month ago. Won't stand in his way, but only if the asking price is met. Advise Joseph to keep training through it all. What should I do? I can't call the police to drag him here on the training pitch, which is very funny. And I did see the Farke talking about this, so I do get the context involved. Yeah, just on this one, I think this is like one of the worst kept secrets. I don't know what anybody else was expecting, but you would think from the comments that a player in his absolute prime has deserted the team. This is a striker that is just looking to play first team football and is looking to head home to Spain. To me, there's nothing more than that. I don't see anything, no issues about it. There's people saying, he's thinking he's better than he is and all that stuff. Rubbish. He just wants to play first team football. And he knew, I'm not saying this is from him, but he knew that once Farke stayed, that his opportunities were going to be limited here. So why not aim for a move? Also, by the way, people talking out both sides of their mouth saying he's not that good, but hold out for 10 million. Well, if he's not that good, why are you expecting 10 million? Let him go for £10 then. You know what I mean? Let him go for 1 million, 2 million. You can't say that he's got nothing in him and then say you want 10 million. It doesn't work like that. If you're saying you want 10 million, it's because you obviously see potential. Now, all I'm going with this with Matteo Joseph, because I've already said I'll be pleased for him to go and get first team football, especially back in Spain, is that Leeds United handle our business the best way. And the best way for Leeds United to do that is obviously to get the best fee that we can and also stick a good sell-on clause on it, because that is going to be vital. Much like we did with Charlie Creswell, stick a sell-on clause on this one because it will benefit us in the future when he eventually moves from whichever club he goes to next to the next one. So that is my full thoughts on it. I understand it's not going to be as nuanced and thought out as from other people. Don't expect that. But that's all I see it as. It's this thing with tribal football fans, wherever it is, not just this football club, but any other football club. As soon as you play, fans can want players to go out once they deem them not good enough. But if a player himself thinks he's better than the level he's at, or even in this case, wants first team football, fans just trash the player. I don't understand that kind of mentality, and I don't want to understand. Okay. But look, it's one of these things now where Leeds United have to look out for the betterment of the football club, get the best fee possible, and put it towards the actual main striker that's coming in. And listen, it could be Joel Peru. It could be Joel Peru to do it, but he's going to need genuine competition as well. And I'm sorry for me, Mecha isn't it at the moment. I know a lot of people are hyping it up, but again, much like Bornauw, Mecha is literally like a training session away from being out for a couple of weeks, just from his previous injury history. So look, it is what it is with Mateo, and I do wish him the best. We'll see how much we get for him. We'll see what Leeds United do accept. But I would think now, much like with Farke talking about Bamford publicly and letting it known to everybody that he's available, I think this probably accelerates too now with Spanish clubs coming in, knowing the full picture now of what's happened now. Mateo Joseph and his agent would have made it clear, and now we can get moving with this because we still need to get departures in this team. There still needs to be players that leaving. You know, Gruev again put in a lot of work today, a lot of minutes in the tank again. But even if we go to a 3 midfield, how much opportunity is Gruev going to get? You know, we got Stack, Ampadu, Tanaka, Longstaff in there. There's a lot of competition that's had. And look, we will need backup and reserves for sure. And maybe Gruev will be happy with that. But we do need to raise some funds in this team. We can't just keep spending without bringing any money in. You know, Lee, but why isn't he doing preseason? Because he doesn't want to go on the trip. He wants to hold back and wait for a move. So he's doing training. So it's not going to be the full, big preseason that everyone's doing out in Germany right now. But he'll be keeping himself fit back in England, where he is now. Awaiting, movement. It's sometimes with players, and sometimes clubs do it to players too. It's not just a one-way street. Sometimes clubs will hold out players. Man United are doing it to about 5 players right now, where they're not taking them to preseason and letting them train back in England. It's just one of those where if he doesn't feel he's going to be part of the group, then why go out there and do it? So it's just one of those things. And if he gets a hard tackle in preseason training for no reason, there's just a whole host of things that the players do in this instant. In all fairness, Richard saying Farke is standing strong with the players. The manager's name is on the block. Yeah, listen, Farke's been in charge of this thing pretty much since he's come in, hasn't he? Up until the Meslier decision. But he has been front and center of everything, and that's good. The manager is putting his name and face to it all. Got no problems with that. But I just don't understand the vitriol to a young player that wants to play first team football, and we've had it previously as well. It's like this fan base. Once a player says they don't want to play for Leeds United anymore, they just start to turn on them. We even saw that with Rafinha when it was known that he was going to go to Barcelona. All of a sudden, Rafinha wasn't trying anymore. I mean, I just don't understand that. It's tapped to me, honestly, but it is what it is, man. Paul saying here, Marseille currently looking behind everyone's sofa, hoping to find a couple more million for Pashao. Might not be over yet. Yeah, there's been nothing in regards to that since I did the video update earlier today. Don't know if another offer's gone in for Pashao and it's been rejected, but this apparently was going to be the final day for Marseille to put one in, but that's only according to reports. I'm sure if they make the bid tomorrow that it's acceptable for final, they'd accept it. But Leeds United, stay waiting in the wing because I want Pashao. I want him. Going on to the preseason, Maz saying here, Ramazani and Nanto look lively and hungry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, Nanto's already said it, and I've said this before about Nanto. The championship, it's a different kind of game. That is much more a Dan James pace. Now, Dan James can translate that in the Premier League, and I'm hopeful of that. But Nanto is clearly a Premier League kind of player. It's just the way he moves, the way that he executes with his technique. That is more Premier League than it is Championship, and I think we're going to see that this coming season. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with those starting winger buffs because Ramazani again went through his quotes earlier today. You know, just brilliant what he said in terms of learning from last season and wanting to come back, helping the team. Yes, he wants to show it on a personal level, but it's all about the team first. Very, as I said in the earlier video, very ice hockey mentality in that way. But that's great stuff from Ramazani that he is looking to stay and push for the a first team place. But if we do get that first choice left winger of a Pashao level, he is the starter. Like there's no doubt about it. Pashao comes in, he is probably the main man. So it's one of those where we'll see if we get him or if we don't land him, who's going to be next on that list, or if we're going to have to look downwards on the list and go, is that where we're having to go? Or is it going to be Harrison? We'll see. Well, we will see. Nida here saying Rafinha wasn't going to get any Ballon d'Or nominations by staying in Yorkshire. Hey, man, if we got back to Europe again, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. So yeah, let's move on to another player that does need an exit. And usually, yeah, Ben Jacobs. Yeah, I heard him talk about it. He's not the most credible, but I always say if there's a story that's got something that is on your agenda, then you need to put it out there. So I will. But Herman, the Leicester goalkeeper Hermanson is going to be leaving. He wants to go to the Premier League, so he's going to be looking at a Premier League move. And it looks like Leicester are looking at Illan Meslier as their replacement. And if you could see the Leicester fans' comments in the post, oh my God, I felt their pain. I honestly did. It's like, wait a minute. This guy is going to be our goalkeeper. And he was, I absolutely get it. But I'm in the Leeds United agenda here, so I want him moved on. Now, I don't know if Meslier is willing to go back to the Championship. That's a whole other story. But the fact that Ben Jacobs, who's in all fairness, is pretty decent with the Leicester stuff, in all fairness, but I don't know if he would like that move or if he would prefer a move back to, say, France, Ligue 1 or anything else like that. But at least then we've got a potential suitor for him. But my thing is with Leicester, can they even afford him at this stage? I know FPL. By the way, FPL going to be bringing that back up for this season. Got to do my team first, and then the league should like reset. But can a Championship club afford him? In terms of Leicester, in light of all of their financial issues. I mean, they've only just sacked Van Nistelrooy, got in a new manager. We'll see with that one. I don't know how much we're going to want for Illan Meslier, but we'll see what happens with this one. 280 watching and 58 like. Yeah, man, please hit the likes, man. Carl saying, I would drive up to Leeds and bring Meslier back to Leicester. Oh, to help the deal go through. Yeah. I think Illan Meslier knows. I mean, he was in the press box today, wasn't he? He was in the press box watching the game. I think it's just a situation for him as well where he would like a move. I think much like Jack Harrison, I think if he could get a clean break tomorrow, he'd welcome it. I don't think that there's anything in him that says, I want to try with Leeds United in the Premier League again. He knows as soon as he drops that one ball straight away, and it probably happened in the first game, people, it's over for him. It's over. It'll be under the hot seat again. It'd just be no good. And it wouldn't look good on Farke as well, keeping him, or the club. Forget Farke. It wouldn't be good on the 49ers keeping Illan Meslier. So hopefully we do get this sorted very soon. David saying here, Leicester can afford £5. That's tremendous. Right. Just a quick one as well on ours. Johnny Howson's is coming back to Leeds United as an under-21 player coach. When I did see the player coach, I went, oh my God, no. But then I saw it's for the under-21s. But listen, Howson, I mean, that was a period in where I was keeping abreast of stuff, but I was kind of busy with other things during this era. But I do like Johnny Howson and wish that we could have kept him a bit longer. But we know in that era, we sold him for £2 million. That Bates era, just no good. But yeah, nice to see him come back, and he's always had good things to say about Leeds, especially that first time when we came back up. He was always saying finish the job to the players. Yeah, he's always had Leeds in his heart, kind of thing. So good for him to come back at the club, get his coaching badges and get experience that way. Good for Hauser, man. Let's go. Laurent saying here, you'll say there'll still be time, but won't. Well, you'll say there's still time. You'll say there's still time, but won't be relieved until we sign a new goalkeeper. Laurent, man, come on, man, help me out. I think I got what you're saying, but yeah, listen. With all the outfield players that we've got, 6 signings in, and potentially even more, it won't matter until we get in a new goalkeeper. I think that's essentially what Laurent is trying to say there. Okay, I'm deciphering it in that way. But yeah, absolutely. Look, we got away with it in the championship because we had the best outfield team and the league was crap. Okay, that's how we got away with just getting by with Meslier up until a certain point, until it got too much. But in the Premier League, if he's in goal, we're going down. Like, and it is as simple as that. Like, there's no other thing that you can say. We're not going to be able to suppress that amount of shots in the Premier League. Can try it. Good luck. We're going to need a real solid goalkeeper back there. And yeah, Meslier is not the answer. So, and I do think the club will get onto that. No, I think that's going to be happening very soon. Let's go to Rival Watch, because I've got to say, Brentford, I think this is the year. There's nothing about Brentford that I'm seeing is saying that they're going to survive. Now, I could look very silly in a couple of months if they go on an 8-match unbeaten run, okay? But Brentford could be losing Visser very soon. Sasha Tavolieri put this out first. Johan Visser wants Newcastle. After agreeing personal terms, as of revealed 3 days ago, the Congolese has decided to push Brentford to keep their promise by letting him leave and negotiate a deal with Newcastle. New rounds of talk this week, and Keith Downey also follows up that they're going to make a second offer of 30 million plus add-ons. He has 1 year left on his Brentford deal, and he's keen to play in the Champions League. Now, this is what I'm saying. People talking about Joseph and everything else like that, but this is the side of football that fans don't really care about, because it usually benefits the fans. But Brentford promised him a move, but only 3 days ago, Brentford was saying that they're not letting both Mbeumo and Visser go. So you can't just renege on a promise. You shouldn't be doing that as a club, but it happens more than you even can imagine, people. But the main point of this being, Brentford are losing so much. And if there is a time where maybe 2 clubs of the 3 promoted clubs could survive, it's this season. Definitely this season. Because I got to say as well, I'm looking at West Ham a little funny too. I know they got Jared Bowen. I know they've got some really good experience in there. But man, if they don't start well, and looking at the way West Ham fans are talking, there's something could be there. They're not going to invest in the striker, and if they do, it could be Callum Wilson as their investment. I'm looking at a couple of clubs where I'm thinking that we could jump over them, because we need to jump over 3, as we know. Sunderland are making a fist of it. Could be signing Xhaka for 8 million. This is a team that I think that could be in trouble. Brentford. Now, this could work out in their way, and if it does, it means their recruitment is on an A plus tier and should be moving on to Barcelona or wherever they need to go, because that would be amazing for what they've currently done so far in the window. I just feel like this could be the season for them. Gavin here saying Wolves lost the signing today, hijacked last minute. Who was that, Gavin? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so people, Brentford, look out for them, because we're gonna have to jump over them. We're gonna have to jump over them. Chris here saying West Ham, Wolves, Brentford, Everton at stretch. I'm not going with Everton, Chris. Everton have become that. I'll believe it when I see it. All right, they're that team for me now. I'm never going to say Everton now. I'm just not. They've survived every single year. You know how they've survived relegation for however long it's been. Amazing stuff by them. So yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, those 3 are definitely viable names, and I think Burnley as well. I honestly, nothing I've seen from Burnley overall is telling me that they're going to survive. I think us and Sunderland have made more of a punch of it so far. Got to say that. Window's not even close to being closed. But so far, I think us and Sunderland have made much more of a fist of it than, say, Burnley have at this point. Oh, yes, I did see that, Gavin. You're right. Yes, yeah, I did see that earlier today. Yeah. For some reason, I don't put Wolves on here. I really shouldn't I? Because yeah. Actually, let's not forget Man United. Nah, they're not going to be here. They signed Mbeumo today, yesterday, I think that was. That's the difference between someone else that just barely scratches relegation, survives relegation, and then Man United, who were down there last year, they can sign Mbeumo for 70 plus million and put him on 250,000 a week. No one else can do that. So that's where they're in a unique position. And you've heard as well from Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, who they've also signed. They grew up watching Man United. So they still have those kind of players who are like maybe 26, 27 now, shall we say, who were still around when Man United were maybe a force when they were kids. But as you see, as the years tick on, and I've mentioned this with us before, coming back to Leeds United, when we used to talk about signing players, they used to talk about, I remember as a kid watching them in the Champions League. Well, we're signing players now that didn't even see us in the Champions League. We're signing players that don't even probably know that we were one of the best teams in England at one point, one of the best. They now see us for what we've been over, say, the last 20 years. So it's just very different. The times move on, players and kids move on and everything else like that. But they managed to sign Cunha and get Mbeumo to say, I only want Man United, because of the recent history of Man United, which is now, as the years tick on, fading away. Richard Griffiths here. Evening all. Thank you, KG, for my birthday wishes. No problem, Richard, man. You told me a few days ago. I remember. You know what I mean? So I had it remembered, and I wish you happy birthday earlier. Listen, I hope you've had a good day, man. What is that? Callum Wilson to Burnley. Is that just come up? Shall I have a look? Let me have a look, see while I'm live. There we go. It wasn't 15 minutes, people. I've been on longer, as I knew I would. Let's have a look here. No. I can't see anything with Callum Wilson and Burnley. Am I missing something, or is this something you guys have just made up in the chat? I'll have another look because I'm here now. Let me have a look. I see. Mike McGrath. How did I miss that? One of the GOATs. Yeah, okay. Burnley rival. We're on Rival Watch, aren't we? So yeah, Callum Wilson, an active target for Burnley as a free agent. Support within the squad and plus staff to land. 33-year-old with proven goal scoring record. Yeah. Okay, willing to offer Premier League stay, but also options abroad. Okay, yeah. So West Ham and Burnley in for Callum Wilson. So there we go. There we are, people. Jeremy saying here, Rafinha in an O'Leary side, we would definitely have won the Premier League. Oh, Jeremy, don't get me started on this, man. If I start talking about that era, I'll be on for another 15, 20 minutes, man. Maybe we'll do a stream about that one day. But I agree, Jeremy, man. I think with a few sensible additions without overspending the way that we did, and even back then, I knew we was overspending because it's like, how many strikers do we need at this football club? We had Fowler, Keane, Smith. Bridges was oft injured, but Viduka, Q would go up front. It's like, how many do we need? We only ever played with two. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do think with a couple of sensible additions and the maturity of like Woodgate and Ferdinand growing together, along with Ian Hart, Bowie, we would have won some. Would have won some. I don't know about the Premier League. Don't know. Maybe a cup. I think we would have done some. Yeah, I should do it, man. I should do it. David saying Fowler was a mistake. Yeah, and listen, when you hear what Fowler had to say, game, he went just because he wasn't wanted at Liverpool anymore. Didn't really fancy the move to Leeds. He did all right for us still, but you could see that twinkle in his eye that he had when he was at Liverpool wasn't there when he was at Leeds, and then subsequent teams afterwards as well. I don't really listen to Danny Mills, Robbie. Gotta say, he's one that I don't really take much notice of, and for some of the vitriol some of our ex-players get, he should be getting some of the worst. You know what I mean? Like he did a favor. I could have taken Leeds United under if I wanted to. I mean, he said it in a braggadocious way. I know. But listen, that's no fault of Danny Mills. And again, I lay the fault blamely at the people that were spending the money very carelessly. I even knew back when we signed Seth Johnson, I was like, what have we signed this guy for? Like, what's he doing here? Darren Huckabee. Yeah, listen, I used to speak to Darren Huckabee, man, and he always thought that he was not at the right level for where we were, especially with the players that we had at the time when he joined. And he was talking about the Kules and even the way Bridges was playing at the time. Even though there's a conversation about Bridges, which is uncomfortable, all right? And this is not me looking back and like rewriting it. It's what happened, but it's me kind of looking back going, man, if we had a more prolific striker with all the chances we created, maybe we finished better than third in 99-2000. But that's another story. I love Bridges for the bug celebration. Cool. But Huckabee, yeah, he always felt like he was he wasn't worthy of a spot there, man. It's really, really strange because I thought he did okay for us when he was given opportunities, but yeah, he didn't feel like he was worthy of a spot. But yeah, listen, people, we're going into 99 2000. You know that's my weak spot. You know that's my weak spot, people. You know it is. Uh, Richard saying here, yeah, one place out of the Champions League spot back then. Now you can finish sixth. No, it's top five, Richard. If you finish fifth, you get Champions League, which is what David O'Leary, got sacked for, finishing fifth. I know there was other things involved as well, but we know the crux of it is that we weren't getting that Champions League money, which absolutely, as you saw for the next few years, killed this football club. Almost went under. Listen, I don't want to go on too much, man, but we're talking about players that, building bridges and everything else like that. But, in the last video, in terms of this new blue away kit, wouldn't it have been nice to see I don't think Harry Kewell's ever going to be forgiven by a majority of the fan base, so I won't say that. But like an Alan Smith, wouldn't it have been nice to see him in that? Because I don't get the hate for him. Now, I was never an Alan Smith guy, which is the funny thing for me to say. But again, this is why I talk the way I talk, because I can see things for what they are. But if we didn't get that 7 million from Man United in one go, there's a good chance the football club could have folded. You know what I mean? It's one of those where I don't look at him in a Man United shirt and go, how did he go there? I think it's very different. I think if we don't get that money in the full and we then accept it in installments, we may be talking about a different football club today. But yeah, I just thought it would have been nice to see like Alan Smith, but maybe he wouldn't want to do that kind of video. But yeah, it was good to see like the others like Nigel Martin and all these guys, and Gary Kelly, my absolute favorite right back ever, Ian Hart and all these guys. But yeah, just saying there. Carl here saying Hasselbank was one player which we kept hold of. Yeah, that's what I think, Carl, man. If we had everything else in 99 2000 plus kept Hasselbank, which means we wouldn't have had to spend 5 million on Michael Bridges. Man, there's conversations to be had. Because with Hasselbank, this isn't like he did well for us and then failed elsewhere. This guy was a legit goal scorer all the way through his career. Just an absolute marksman, man. I miss that era of striker. I really do miss that just goal scoring hungry striker. I miss it so much. But yeah, imagine if he was with us in 99 2000 with the service from Kewell and Bowyer and all those guys. What? Don't see. You got me started. You got me started, man. You got me started, didn't you? Oh man. Listen, I did have a poll up, and the only reason why I had the poll up, if both strikers wanted to come, who would you take? And that was out of Muniz and Mitrovic. Is because Mitrovic is said to be homesick and wants to move back to England. I did see like a very, very loose report that Birmingham City had bid 12 million for him. Now, if you're talking 12 million for Mitro and that was accepted, you best get in there. All right. And the thing as well, a couple of comments yesterday, I got to push back on a couple of comments where people say Mitrovic is too old. He's 31 or 32 years. No, he's 31 years old or 30. Yeah, he's not old, people. 31, 34, 35, all depending on the fitness and shape you're in. You're not old at that age, people. And for what we need him for over the next couple of years, it would pay for itself. He knows he's not going to get 400,000 a week, especially if he was to go Birmingham City. But you get what you're paying for with Mitrovic, with all what we've built behind. Man, imagine having him on the end of chances, man. I'd kill to see this at Ellen Road. I'd love to see it, but yeah. We'll see what happens with Mitrovic, but I don't think Leeds United will go for him. Maybe he's not a Daniel Farke kind of player, but yeah. I'm like I say, I'm not upset with Rodrigo Muniz if he comes in again. I see the vision with that too. Yeah. Richard saying here, Tanaka is the best buy for 10 years. There's a conversation for sure. The thing was as well, and this again, I'm only going from my comment section, but a few people are thinking that Tanaka may be too soft for the Premier League. Now, listen, on the Man United game, I thought he did very well overall. Maybe lost the ball a couple of times, but for the more creative players, they're going to lose the ball, which is why. But again, this is the era of football we're in now. Whenever someone loses the ball now, they're a bad player. And everything else like that. It's defense first now. Don't make a mistake. But he's going to be the one that's going to take more of a risk with the ball, so that's going to happen. But there's a conversation that he possibly could be. I'm trying to think of who else we've signed in the last 10 years. Maybe that's a different video again. But yeah, he's for 3 million. You can't argue with that, can you? Chris here asking, saying here, my worry is who are the dropouts from Preseason and Muniz? Yeah, let's hope we don't find out, Chris. You know what I mean? And listen, if Marseille don't get the bid in, I do think maybe we're second in line. Just from the reports, only a feeling, no inside info, obviously, but I get the feeling we're probably next in line if Marseille can't get it done. Let's see what we can do with that. And Muniz as well. Yeah, I don't know who would be next. Honestly, Chris, I don't know. But let's just be grateful, that we didn't get, lumped with. Who is it from Southampton? Who is it? Cameron Archer? Let's be grateful we're not in that position. Let's be grateful. Isaac here saying, I love Ivan Toney at Leeds. Yeah, me too. But I think he's very happy out in Saudi. I don't think he's looking for a move back. I could be wrong there, though. I could be wrong, Isaac, but absolutely. And these kind of deals, by the way, the wages were always going to be high for those players, but they know they're not going to get those when they come back. And sometimes with it being a World Cup year as well, it could be a loan. And I imagine if you could get Mitro on a loan or Ivan Toney, you're not saying no to that. And Ivan Toney isn't a luxury striker as well. Thomas Frank wouldn't have that in his team. He does the hard work, he does the hard pressing, but he's a goal scorer. And yeah, I'd love Ivan Toney too, Isaac, for sure. Chris, why don't we get the Zerbi from Marseille, then skip the tails our way? Tremendous. But yeah, so people, listen, you guys got me into the 99-2000 chat, and you made me go longer than I wanted to. But no, it's all good, man. I love talking about that era, man, because that's when I first started, supporting the club. So it invokes really good memories for me. But yeah, we want to. What I always say is that I'm not nostalgic for that. I love that era, but I want to see it again. I want to see it again in this era. I want to compare a manager. I want to compare a team to what we had back then with one of the best teams in England. And listen, we got to survive relegation first, then hopefully we can build on from there and take steps towards that. And that's the dream for me. That's the absolute dream for me. But look, people, that is the video of today. I hope you're all doing well. I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow with another update. I'm sure we will. Please like the video before you go. And yeah, that's it, people. Peace out. See you in the next one.